Welcome to English Vidyarthi. Today I am going to discuss a poem, The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. This poem is included in CBSE grade 11 syllabus. It is given in a book named Hornbill. Friends, we know that Ted Hughes is a very well-known English poet. He is popular for writing poems on nature, and one such poem is given here in your textbook, The Laburnum Top. Now, what is the laburnum? The laburnum is a name of a tree. It is yellow in color and it bears seeds which are poisonous. Now, in this poem, the poet is describing the top of the laburnum tree. The event is of a very short period. One bird comes and sits on the top of the laburnum tree. It sits there for just a while, but how the bird changes the entire tree, how the bird impacts the laburnum tree, the poem discusses that. So, not wasting much time, let us discuss the poem, The Laburnum Top. The laburnum top is silent, quite still in the afternoon yellow September sunlight, a few leaves yellowing, all its seeds fallen. In the beginning, the poet is describing the laburnum tree, the top of the tree. It is September afternoon time. The top of the tree is silent. It is quiet. It is still. It is not moving. The tree is not moving. The leaves are getting yellow. So all these things indicate that probably this is the time of autumn. Generally, this happens during autumn. The leaves turn yellow and seeds start falling. So the poet is saying that it is a September afternoon and the laburnum tree is motionless. It is quiet. It has turned yellow and no action or no activity is going on the top of this tree. But now, all of a sudden, one tiny little goldfinch, it comes and sits in the branches of this tree. And what happens? Till the goldfinch comes with a twitching chirrup, a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. So the tree is quiet, it is motionless, but only for some time, until the small tiny bird named goldfinch comes and sits in the branch of the tree. How does the bird come? It comes with a twitching chirrup. Chirrup is a sound which is made by a bird. You must have heard chirruping of birds. Normally they make very sharp, shrilled sound. So that is known as chirruping. So the bird comes abruptly, suddenly, quickly, very fast, and it sits at a branch end. It comes with a suddenness, a startlement. Startlement is amusement. Then, sleek as a lizard and alert and abrupt, she enters the thickness. Here the bird is described as she, so it must be a female bird, a female goldfinch. The female goldfinch here, she is compared with a lizard because it looks sleek like a lizard. Here the poet is using a simile. He is comparing two objects, lizard and a goldfinch, due to the similarity. What is the similarity between them? They both are sleek, they are shiny and smooth. So the bird enters into the thickness of the tree very alertly and abruptly. The bird is very alert because it is concerned about its own safety. So looking here and there, looking around, very alertly, abruptly, the bird enters the thickness of the laburnum tree. And the machine starts off of chitterings and a tremor of wings and trillings. And the moment the bird enters into the thickness, the machine starts up. The entire tree, it starts shaking. Why? Because now the bird was inside its nest, and the nest was probably full of babies. Because here the poet is describing that the moment the bird went inside the thickness, he could hear a lot of chitterings. Again, chitterings is sounds made by the birds, and a tremor of wings. The birds or the babies of the goldfinch, they started flapping their wings with the arrival of their mother. They were happy. They started screaming. They started singing. Again, trailing is the sharp sound made by the birds. So we understand here that the arrival of the goldfinch is like a celebration for the young ones, because after all, goldfinch was their mother, and probably they came here with some food with her. So the moment the young ones, they started expressing their happiness, the entire tree, it started shaking up. The whole tree trembles and thrills because of a lot of movement in the nest. The entire tree gets influenced by that, and it starts trembling and thrilling. It is the engine of our family. It here means the tree. The tree is the engine of our family. The way engine is very significant in when we think about any machine. Here the poet is saying that the tree is the engine of goldfinch family. The life of goldfinch cannot run without the engine, without the tree. Why? Because the tree is the shelter to the family. The tree provides food to them, and the tree also protects the young goldfinch from predators. So in that sense, the tree is the engine of our family. She stokes it full. Now the goldfinch, she adds fuel to it. She stokes it full. She puts lot of energy to the machine, to the engine, because without stoking the fuel, the engine cannot run. How does the bird stoke the engine? She stokes the engine by providing more energy to the tree, by providing liveliness and mirth to the tree. In these two lines, we clearly understand the relationship between the tree and the goldfinch. They both are interdependent. It is a reciprocal relationship. Neither the tree can survive without the goldfinch, nor the goldfinch can survive without the tree, because the tree is essential to provide shelter and food to the family, and in the same way the goldfinch is important in the life of the tree, because it is the goldfinch who brings lot of liveliness and happiness in the tree. We know that without the goldfinch, the tree was silent and quite still. So goldfinch is the reason of bringing lot of joy and happiness to the life of the tree. So their relationship is very important. It is interdependent. So after fulfilling its duty, the goldfinch now, she then flirts out to a branch end. Again she went back to the end of the branch from where she had started here, showing her barred face identity mask. And now the moment she came towards the end of the branch, her face was clearly visible. And how was it? Because the goldfinch has black colored stripes on its face. So those stripes, they worked as if it was the identity mask for the goldfinch. The color of the goldfinch and the color of the laburnum tree or the laburnum leaves, they are the same. It is yellow. So without these black colored stripes, probably both of them, they look so identical, but because of these stripes on the face of the goldfinch. Now the goldfinch is clearly seen, and that's why the poet says that it has become her identity mask. Then with eerie delicate whistle chirrup whisperings, she launches away towards the infinite. Now what happens? The bird launches away, the bird flies away towards the infinite. The bird leaves again back into the sky. Towards the infinite means into the sky. How does the bird leave? With eerie delicate whistle chirrup whisperings. The bird is whistling, it is whispering, it is chirruping, but it is delicate and eerie. Eerie here means somehow strange. So the bird makes some sound and then it flies away. And the laburnum subsides to empty. At the end, the laburnum tree is again back to the square. Again, it is the same tree which was there in the beginning of the poem. But yes, there is only one difference, that the tree did not feel emptiness earlier before meeting the bird. So that is the slight change here. In the beginning, the tree is silent and still, but after experiencing the company of the small little goldfinch, now when the goldfinch departed, the tree feels emptiness within. It misses the goldfinch and some kind of void is created in the tree. Isn't it a beautiful poem? Now you must have understood that there are layers of meanings in this poem, and probably that makes it a very special poem. First of all, we can relate this poem to any kind of relationship. It can be a relationship between two friends, it can be a relationship between children and parents, it can also be a relationship between a devotee and the god. Basically, any good relationship where one person is very positive, very energetic, it feels liveliness and happiness in the other person's life, and all of a sudden when that person disappears, when that person is away, how the other one feels, kind of emptiness and void within. So probably that relationship is described here. Critics also say that here the poet is probably trying to discuss his own relationship with his first wife, Sylvia Plath, who was also a very well-known poetess. She committed suicide and she died, and probably the poet says that when she was there in his life was full of joy and liveliness. She became the reason to revive him, to rejuvenate him. And after her going, again the poet became lonely and his heart was filled with some kind of emptiness. So there are layers of meanings in this poem, and you need to understand all of them. You need to understand how to interpret this poem, because sometimes it happens that the outer meaning is different, but when you read between the lines, it gives altogether a different meaning. So friends, I understand that you must have been able to understand this poem properly. If you have any questions, you can put remarks below, and I would really appreciate if you keep on watching my videos. Thank you so much.